Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, November 14th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with an update on the status of Rey Mysterio. Mysterio was removed from the SmackDown World Cup tournament, as well as a planned interview segment on last week's SmackDown due to either a foot or an ankle injury, according to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Mysterio had been scheduled to face Ricochet in the tournament next Friday on SmackDown, but has been replaced by Mustafa Ali, a talent from Raw. It is not yet known how Mysterio sustained the injury. His last match was October 30th at the WWE House Show in Mexico City. The winner of the SmackDown World Cup tournament will receive a shot at the Intercontinental title, currently held by Gunther. In more WWE news, multiple fans were removed from the Saturday night's main event house show at the Peoria Civic Center in Peoria, Illinois, when one of them tossed a drink on Scarlett during a match pitting Karrion Kross against Drew McIntyre. According to eyewitness reports on Twitter, a woman was handcuffed and escorted out by police for throwing the drink after she refused security's request that she leave. The rest of those with her, believed to be her family, were then asked to leave and complied. Scarlett was described as visibly upset and later commented on Twitter, quote, "A classy woman from Chicago. I'm not surprised that something like this would happen in Peoria. P.S. To the granny that threw the drink, your booze was as cheap as your hairdo," unquote. With some National Wrestling Alliance news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Nick Aldis took to a subscription Instagram channel yesterday to comment on Saturday's NWA Hard Times 3 pay-per-view, where Tyrus became the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Said the two-time former NWA champ, quote, "I hope now you see why it was important to me to let you know that I had given my notice to the NWA before this pay-per-view. What was once a promising endeavor that I turned down bigger opportunities to take the lead on has become the most toxic brand in pro wrestling. Thank you all for the support," end quote. Aldis gave his notice to the NWA on November 5th, citing creative differences with Billy Corgan, and was suspended 2 days later for his critical comments. Corgan's decision to put the NWA title on Tyrus at Hard Times has been widely criticized on social media. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In news from Japan, All Japan Pro Wrestling kicked off its 46th annual Real World Tag League tournament yesterday before a crowd of 794 at Tokyo's Kurikan Hall. Picking up wins in the round-robin-style tournament were the Voodoo Murderers team of Kono and Suwama, who defeated Kento Miyahara and Takuya Nomura, Cyrus and Shuji Ishikawa, who defeated Jake Lee and Yume Aoyagi, Yuji Nagata and Yuma Anzai, who defeated Gungnir of Anarchy's Ryuki Honda and Shotaro Ishino, and Koji Doi and Kuma Arashi, who defeated Jun Saito and Rei Saito of Voodoo Murderers. The victorious teams each received 2 points in the tournament, which runs until the finals on December 7th. The second night of the Real World Tag League takes place on Wednesday. Established in 1977, the Real World Tag League was first won by Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. Other winners over the years have included Giant Baba and Jumbo Tsuruta, Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen, Terry Gordy and Steve Williams, and Kenta Kobashi and Mitsuharu Misawa. It's the season for tag team leagues in Japan, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, DDT, and Stardom, among other companies who have held or are holding such events. In news from outside the wrestling ring but inside the boxing ring, former WWE and AEW wrestler Bobby Fish was victorious last night in his pro boxing debut, defeating Boateng Prempeh by TKO in the second round on the undercard of the Floyd Mayweather-Deji Olatunji fight at the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai. Fish sent Prempeh to his knees with a right hand to the body, after which Prempeh was unable to answer the referee's count.
Again, nice jab off the step in. And you see, Bobby goes right to that Muay Thai plum clinch.
You'll see right hand. Shot. Go ahead.
Woo!
Does he still want to be in there?
His shoulder. That's it. That's it.
Done.
Looks like the shoulder might be bothering Boateng. I don't know if he fell on it wrong or if it was...
Earlier in the bout, midway through round one, Fish had lifted Prempeh off his feet with what looked like an attempted suplex and received a stern warning from the official. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.